Well, hello everyone and welcome to another episode here on the MIgardener channel. I hope you all are having a great day because I absolutely am. It is a beautiful fall day and I just was out here doing some maintenance on my Mediterranean garden, which you'll see an update on very soon. But I was out here and I was just looking at this fig here and I was noticing that there was a lot of growth down at the bottom. And for me, I don't want a whole lot of growth down at the bottom. I don't want a really bushy plant. I would rather have a tall plant that spreads out when it comes to figs, because figs don't get that heavy, and it allows me to grow a lot of plants underneath here. And it also allows me to do another thing, which is to gather cuttings for propagation. So that's what we're going to do today's video on. I'm going to bring you all in close. I'm going to show you kind of what I'm talking about with all the undergrowth. It happens with figs. It's very common because they don't grow that tall, but they get really wide and bushy. And so for someone like me that doesn't want a wide and bushy plant, I can have a very mid-range tree shrub, I guess, and I can plant a lot of other plants down at the base here, which was my whole premise for a Mediterranean garden. It makes it really good for me because I can get so many free plants I can give away to friends. I can sell if I want an extra source of income, or I can plant more around the house and have more figs. I'm certainly not complaining with more figs. So let me show you what I'm talking about here, and then we'll get into how to propagate them. So here you have the main growth point of the fig. And it's got a lot of down here, a lot of this lower bushy growth. And this one is fine. I'll probably leave this one for now at least. I don't think I'll prune this one off just because it's really not harming much. But there's this one down here that is at the actual base of the soil. I mean, it is right down at soil level. And I don't want that. I don't want that plant down there to be growing out at soil level, because that's going to hang out really far and shade a lot of plants. So what we're going to do is we're going to clip that so that that is no longer there. And now we have our cutting. So let's go take this over. I can show you how to propagate it. All right, so we've got a few things here that are really important to making this process successful and easy. Number one, get a large pot, not a small pot, at least a 1 gallon pot to propagate a cutting. You can propagate multiple cuttings per pot. I choose not to fiddle with that because then you got to break them all apart and damage the root systems, and just totally not necessary. Get a 1 gallon pot at least per cutting and make it easy on you. Fill that pot with a really good either compost or bagged potting mix, something that has a lot of organic matter that's going to hold on to moisture, provide nutrients as the plant grows, and really just make the home as accommodating for root growth as possible. So something that's going to be good for aeration and drainage and things like that. But like I said, holding on to moisture is the most important component, because you cannot allow a cutting to go dry. If you allow it to go dry for even a day, the root development will stop. So you have to make sure that it stays moist. On the topic of staying moist, the third thing that we have here, besides the cutting and the pot with soil, is some vermiculite. Now, vermiculite it's actually a volcanic rock that has been expanded, and it kind of seems almost fluffy, but people look at it and like, that's not a rock. It is. It's a volcanic rock that's been expanded, and it's very porous, holds on to moisture very well. Nurseries will use this oftentimes when starting seeds, because if you allow seeds to dry out in the same way you allow a cutting to dry out, they won't germinate very well. So to get very even germination and to conserve soil moisture, they will add vermiculite. Perlite, on the other hand, adds aeration and good drainage. You don't necessarily need that if you don't have a very good quality soil. You could add that as well, but because we're using some compost right from the garden, some very good, very well-aged compost and rich in organic matter material, I'm just going to add some vermiculite. And the vermiculite, like I said, is optional, but I would recommend it. I think it's a really important step to making sure that your cutting has enough moisture. So picking up a bag, you don't have to pick up a big bag like this. I just have this around because I use it in my potting mixes in the spring. But you can get a small bag for like $3-4. It's super easy to come by, especially on Amazon, and it's not too expensive. So we're going to add just a little bit of vermiculite. I choose to add about that much or so. And then what we want to do is we want to prepare the cutting. So The cutting is very simple to prepare. You just want to make sure that all these leaf nodes are gone first, okay? And then what you want to do is you want to take away the top growth point. The top growth point is going to have to go, otherwise it will try to continue growing and it will not reroute energy back down. Because what you want to do is you essentially want that, because that's going to send energy down. It has just a couple leaves, that's important to have, and it's going to send that energy back down, and it'll say, whoa, hold on, there's no roots down here and there's no way to grow up. Now it's kind of like a dead end here. I got to do one or the other, and it will always prioritize root growth over new growth, I guess. Root growth over new growth. I like that. Put that on a t-shirt. So anyways, then another thing that we're going to do is to aid its ability to set down roots. We want to just simply scratch this outer cambium layer. This is the hard protective layer that protects it from pests. And you want to make sure you just kind of rough that up a little bit. You don't have to shave it completely dry. Don't shave it down all the way to the heartwood of the fig cutting. Just scrape off just the little outer green layer a little bit, rough that up, and that's going to allow it to set down roots even a little bit easier yet. So now that's all roughed up there. We're going to get it down as deep as we can, okay? Right down to the very bottom of the pot. The more surface area you have touching the soil, the better. So get it down to the very bottom of the pot, and notice we're not filling this up all the way. You don't want to fill it up all the way, because what you want to do is you want to have room where you can add some mulch. If you're growing this, if you're trying to start your cuttings in the summertime, adding mulch is important. It's going to help conserve that moisture. Also for me, what I want to do is, since I'm leaving this outside, it's going to root and then overwinter. What I want to do is I want to have some good room for insulation. So I'm going to pack this full of leaves here, because these are Chicago cold hardy figs, meaning these will overwinter here in Michigan, no problem. And so I'm going to keep these really well moist, and that's the final step, is just keep it well watered. You can also, this is also optional, you can take a plastic bag, cut a hole in it, and make it kind of a tent over top of here to kind of insulate any evaporation. That's also another optional step that you can do. I choose not to, because I don't really find it's very necessary. Figs are one of the easiest plants to propagate, because they propagate so quickly that in about 2 to 3 weeks or so, you should have new root growth. 2 to 3 weeks. And that's it. It's really that simple. And you can take it, you can transplant it into a new place, or continue growing it out in this pot for, maybe 4 or 5 months or so before it needs a transplant. So it's very simple to do. And the final thing too that I thought I'd touch on is temperature. Temperature is really important to have good root development. So if it does drop down below 40 degrees or so, I'll probably pull it inside into the garage, where it can stay at least above 50. You don't have to keep it super warm. The warmer the better, but if you can't, don't sweat it. It's still gonna set down roots, just not as fast. So make sure it stays at least around 50 degrees at night, and if it doesn't, pull it somewhere where it's gonna be a little bit warmer. You can also root these inside. I just choose not to bring the bugs inside, and since it's a fig and it roots so easily, I don't have to. So it's that simple. I hope you all enjoyed. I do hope that you try rooting figs, because it's a great way to get free plants. It's a great way to give away plants to your friends, family, and like I said, generate some extra income. These plants right here sell for a pretty penny. A plant this tall, a plant about this size, that is fully rooted in a 1 gallon pot at our local nursery sells for $45. 45 bucks for this sucker right here. That's for a Chicago cold hardy fig. So there's good money to be made, and people will pay it. People love figs. It's a really unique plant to grow, and so I would recommend it. Even if you don't sell them, just give them to your friends, give them to your family, plant more of them. Just certainly a plant not enough people are growing. So as always, this is Luke from the MIgardener channel. I hope you enjoyed. I hope you learned something new, and as always, grow big or go home. See ya. Bye.